Hey, what's up guys? This morning I am at Stillwater Steel picking up this custom material that I had Kyle break for me. But what is it for? For those of you who may not know, my name's Austin Ross. I've been a welder for 14 years here on this channel. I share tips and tricks for rig welders. If those are videos that you're interested in, make sure and subscribe and ring that bell to get notified when I post a new video every Friday. Let's go ahead and strap this stuff down and head to get the next item. So that's what I'm doing today, is back on the privacy fence job. Got all my posts set, now I'm ready to put the boards on. But I've got a custom track system made that I had Kyle at Stillwater Steel draw up, and we talked about it, you know, what we needed, but so the water will drain out of the bottom. So I'm excited to try it out because it will allow us to have a privacy fence with nothing but 2 screws on in between each section to hold all your pieces in. And if you ever need to replace a piece, all you gotta do is pull 2 screws out, pull the top track off, and replace any picket if they go bad. But I already said it, I think, but allow water to drain out on the bottom track. So I'm excited to see how well this works. Today is the first day that I'm going to actually start fabricating all this stuff. But I gotta lay out where my top rail, you know, where my top of the fence is gonna be. That's why I wanted these pickets, because I need to make sure they fit in the track system all right, and then get my height, because the track's gonna go over the top of all the pickets. So okay, so we had a little fiasco with the pickets, partly because they had the bundle labeled wrong, and partly because I wasn't paying attention. I should have known, should have been paying real close attention that what they loaded first was not cedar, because cedar is a totally different color than treated, but lesson learned, 3rd time's a charm, we got her now. We got the wrong ones again, and I was looking at them and I was like, oh, that ain't right, but let me look, because I was supposed to get cedar. Clearly there's a difference in color of cedar and treated, but we got the right ones now. Strap them down and then head to the job. Are you having trouble drumming up work for your welding business? Are you having trouble getting into the welding industry? Are you having trouble finding help for your welding business? Or maybe you're having trouble, say, getting a pipeline job or any welding job whatsoever. If you said yes to any of these, check this out. Those of you that have been following along, you know I talk a lot about networking. Networking and communicating and socializing is how the world turns. Even more so in the welding industry. About a year ago, Kayla and I created the arosswelding Inner Circle. One of the main reasons we created it was for connections, networking. We wanted to share this YouTube platform with you, but we also wanted it to be a mastermind, like self-development place. Well, now we are separating the two. You can now join the Inner Circle for only $5 a month. What is that? A couple of coffees? Very affordable. We want it to be affordable. We want you to have access to all the benefits of the Inner Circle. We see a lot of potential in this networking. The only thing that it's lacking is you. One of the features that we're most excited about is the location feature. The location feature will allow you to find people in your area, whether you're looking for day help, welders, somebody to practice welding pipe with, whatever the case may be. The location feature we're really excited about. We think it's going to be super helpful wherever you're at in the world. The more people that join, the more likely it is you're going to be able to find somebody in your area to connect with. But you can also just connect with people afar by getting advice, chatting, visiting with each other, learning from one another. We've got a pipeliners group, a rig welders group. There's several different circles. We've even got a ladies group and a Canadian circle. So lots of different circles. Even though I'm not active on the pipeline, there's still a pipeline circle. So those of you that are on pipeline jobs, if you join, you can find others in your area that are on pipeline jobs. And the list goes on and on and on. I've never been so excited to share such an announcement. Now, we're not doing away with the mastermind / self-development section of the Inner Circle. It's just gonna be at a higher price point, and it's gonna have a couple different benefits, one of them being exclusive content. But don't worry, if you join for $5 a month, you can upgrade that to the $35 a month at any time. But the links are in the description. Go check them out. Let us know if you have any questions. I am here at the job. The first thing I'm going to do, well, the first thing I did was measure my pickets to make sure, you know, what dimension I needed in between my track system that I'll show y'all. So I measure my pickets to see what real measurements are. That's one thing about fabrication, is you always want to double check, triple check, all your measurements, because what it says on like a ticket or on like a, you know, like a label, like a, you know, we'll use a 2x4 for example. If a 2x4 says it's 2 inches by 4 inches, it's really 1.5 inches by like 3.5, I think, something like that. It's not true 4 inch. So always measure your stuff. So I measured those, I got my measurements, and really all I care about with them right now is the height. I've got my good old string line. I'm going to go ahead and run me a string line along the top of all this and eyeball it just like I would pipe fence. Those of you that have been following along, you know that I always say you want appealing to the eye. I want to find my, pretty much my the highest part of the ground with this whole fence and make that the very bottom, and then just go from there. Make it look as fluent and as nice as possible is the goal. But all right, so by the time I went to Stillwater Steel and had my little picket fiasco, the day kind of got shortened, but I did get all my top laid out. The one thing that I did want to get done before the end of today was to test out one section of these tracks. So I'm glad I did, because after doing this one here on site, I realized that I needed to tack all the tabs together on bottom so it'd be a lot stronger. So I took all the tracks home and tacked them all up there in my shop. So much easier, but here it is. Here's an example of what it is going to look like all the way around. We will be back tomorrow to carry on with the project. What I did here was I measured up on that far post over there where there's going to be a walk-through gate. I measured up roughly 6 foot, because them pickets are 6 foot. I ran me a string line roughly level, and then I ran me a string line roughly level down here, measured up, you know, a rough measurement 6 foot. But my plan and what my goal was for this fence, or my goal is for it to be level, right? Well, with fence, you can't always necessarily do that, have the same top because of the ground. But luckily this area here, I was able to, I'm gonna have to do some digging right here, but I don't mind doing that if it's just a little bit of digging, if I can, you know what I mean, not have to put one section up or a few sections up, you know. So that was my goal. So anytime I lay out fence, like a top rail on, or the top of posts on any fence, I literally just do a lot of eyeballing when it comes to laying out my fence. From that gate all the way over to this corner here where I had my little issue is going to be the same. Now when it comes to this right here, you can see the ground kind of drops off. Make sure I get good lighting for you guys. The ground drops off, so this over here is going to have to be a 8 or 10 inch drop. So this section over here will be lower than the rest of it, but the rest of it should be that same height as that example that I've got put up over there. So pretty excited about it. Got my little welding buggy. This is a TIG 200. I bought it for a stainless job I was working on, and we'll actually get back to it at some point. But it's a TIG slash stick, so it comes with some leads. The reason I brought this machine was because my leads, most likely, I'm pretty sure, will not reach all the way to the other side of the yard. I do wish I had a heavier extension cord, like a 110 extension cord, but I'm gonna try it and see if it works. If not, worst case, I can pull on the other side of the house and string to that end to the yard with my leads. But I'm just using it because I already had it, versus buying, you know, $1,000 worth of extra lead, or $500 to $1,000, depending on what I ended up doing. But anyway, I'm pretty excited about my little buggy, and my goal for today is to finish laying out. For one, I got to do some digging over there where I pointed it out, and then I'm going to finish laying out my this bottom track here. I'm going to go ahead and make my mark, because I've got all my tops marked, but I'm going to go ahead and measure down and lay out my bottom mark all the way around and get it all ready, and then start installing this track. I'll show you guys the track system right over here. So this is what Kyle and I came up with. It's essentially just a channel, 2 inch by roughly 3/4 by 2 inch. It did come in 2 separate pieces. You can see I had to tack all this up right through here. But anyway, this will go on the bottom, and then tabs will hold the pickets, but water will still be able to drain out. So, and then the top is just a regular solid channel. Alright, so after I got everything laid out, marked where all my tabs were going to be, marked where all my bottom tracks were going to be, I cut all my posts off to length. One of the things that I try to pay most attention to when doing what I call residential jobs or like backyard neighborhood jobs is I try to make sure I have a fire blanket, or in this case an umbrella, to put up in front of windows and whatnot, siding on houses, stuff like that. But also, one thing that I do is I'm strategic about how I cut these. Like, I'll try to start cutting towards the house, that way the sparks don't have anywhere to go but inside or towards the window, and then the sparks don't have anywhere to go but inside the pipe. That way, and I just try to shoot the sparks like down, not all the way through my cut, if that makes sense. So that's one of the most important things, is keeping the sparks off of windows most importantly, but also the siding and anything else on the house. Now that I got all my posts cut off to length, I went around and measured each section at the bottom. I'm going to go through here and cut these tracks down to the measurements that I took, install them, and then go around and put the little tabs on the top. Hey, I like this Diablo blade, by the way. In a previous video, I said something about trying this Diablo blade, and it's cheaper, so I didn't expect much of it. And a lot of you said that they're really good, and y'all were right. Diablo, that's a good blade. Alright, this is what we got done today. About 5, 6, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 6 sections. I'll take y'all around this way so you can see it. Got my little tabs up here. I'll buff that slag off, don't you worry. Tab there. Tab on the other side so they can screw that top channel to it. But yeah, got us a little bottom track, got them all cut to length and laid out here. Oh, welding rod. All laid out, ready to rock and roll. I should be able to get the rest of them tacked up in roughly half a day, or welded up. And I think I'm just gonna set the caps that I got on here, because the one that I tested, it fits pretty snug, and they're so thin, I don't really want to put a weld around it. I just think it'll look nasty. That's weird for me. You know, I want to weld it because I want it to be there and not come off, but I honestly think it won't go anywhere. It overlaps this about 3/8 of an inch, so I think it'll just look a lot nicer if they're just sat on top of there. So yeah, today's been one of those days where it don't look like I got a lot done, but I had a lot of digging to do. As you see, all this, a lot of digging to do this morning. And then I got all my posts cut off to length, so I mean productive, but it just doesn't look like much. And then I cut all these to length, of course. But the thing about it is once I get all these welded in and the tabs welded on and then the cap set on, literally once I get all these pickets, all I gotta do is set pickets in here all the way around. The time consuming part of the pickets will be trimming the last one to make it, most likely, chances are there's not going to be even a number of pickets. I'm going to have to trim a picket long ways. So that's going to be the most time consuming part of putting the pickets in. But I'm actually painting this also, so I honestly don't even think I'll put the pickets in until after I get it all painted. I don't love that there's houses all the way around because spraying it would be legit, but I think I'm just going to have to brush paint it. So anyway, after I get these all welded up, I'm going to wipe all this steel down with, I forgot the name of it. Kayla knows the name, but anyway, there's some kind of mineral oil. Maybe that's what it is, mineral oil. You can wipe this steel down and get all this oil off of it, and then paint it. That way the paint will actually stick to it. And then I'll probably put the pickets in, and then I got to build the gate. That's going to be the next deal, probably after I get all this welded up, is I'll probably build that gate. I've got to get that gate figured out, and then painted, and then pickets, and then this thing will be good to go. My buggy worked pretty good today. It would be nicer to have a little bit longer set of leads on this bad boy, but I like it because I can carry my rod bucket, my tabs, got my caps down in there. You know, it's just nice to be able to carry this stuff around, have a little catch-all system. So I do need to get some type of that gasless flux that everybody keeps talking about. That would be ideal for this situation also, I think, because this stick welder, it sticks a lot worse than my machine. You know, I'm not used to it, so I probably wasted a lot more welding rod than guy wanted to, but I'm thankful that I already have it and didn't have to buy 500 foot of lead to reach all the way across this yard. My advice for this week is, when it comes to bidding projects, make sure you're taking notes on how long something takes for next time. So like, you know, if I thought I might have, you know, X amount of hours in putting these tracks in, and it's taken me 2 hours versus the 2 hours longer versus the, you know, time I thought it would take, then I need to take note of that and either adjust it next time on the bid or figure out a way to make it faster. And that's the thing, is the more you do something, the faster you're going to get, because you've already done it, so it's going to go faster, or you found a faster way, or you found a better way. So just be taking notes, that way you can reevaluate on the next job. That's my advice. Thank you all for watching, and remember, learn something every day.